Welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me, as always, is Ben.
Yo,
Yo.
did you forget about the episode today?
No.
Okay, just checking. One of us had to finish up a game of Heroes of the Storm, and for once it wasn't me.
Yeah, it just went long.
I feel you.
We got to like level 24.
Ooh, it's a good.
I mean, I was playing Vikings. I just couldn't finish.
Oh my god, I was like, I don't know. I guess I was thinking maybe you were doing Arena or something, and then I opened up the Blizzard app. And sure enough, son of a bitch. But yeah, we're doing the third portion of the stuff that influenced us, mini series nonsense. Talking about TV shows.
Television.
You know, it's the same thing.
Is it? Yes.
I mean, I'm.
The answer to that one is yes.
Yes.
Good. See, you passed the test.
Yeah. There's a lot of TV shows out there.
It's true.
I
I don't watch any of them anymore, but I used to watch a lot of them.
It's definitely. I mean, everybody like the whole cable cutting thing. That's a real thing. I don't know. I'm not sure if I know anyone like within anyone within, I mean, 10 years younger than me. You're getting to a bit young, but like I don't know anyone within like 10 years within 10 years of my age who actually watches TV, like TV, sit down on the couch, unless it's like a football game or sports of some sort. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the only thing.
Yeah, that's what's holding
TV's
it.
a fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess I don't know. My dad.
If you like ads and you don't like, and you like just melting and not having to worry about.
Yeah,
what
no,
you're
I
watching,
was like,
it's fun.
that's like what my dad does. Just comes home,
Yeah.
changes the channel every time a commercial comes on, complains about how it's all garbage. Actively is aware that we have Netflix and Hulu.
But that requires like.
You have to pick something. And then
You have
if
to
you
make a choice.
and then if you
It's the
pick
worst.
bad, you feel I think there's a greater feeling of like wasting time and being disappointed. Like if you turn on the TV and it's garbage, you can't do anything about that. But if you smash the watch button on the Emoji Movie, like you're gonna be disappointed and you only have yourself to blame.
I would say disappointed is the word I would use. Deeply sad, maybe.
Poop
Not
emoji?
disappointed.
Is poop emoji how you feel about the Emoji Movie?
There is no emoji for that.
There has to be. There's an emoji. Okay, you know what? I take that back. There's a sticker for everything. I don't think there's an emoji for everything. They're falling behind, especially since I took out the revolver emoji and we got to use squirt guns now.
Boo.
Right?
Boo.
This is 2018. How am I supposed to make a suicide joke without the revolver emoji?
Stickers.
Stickers. Boom.
Or use your words.
I guess.
Use your words, Ben.
Ugh. Ugh. Said the aspiring English teacher. Word. Oh.
They're the worst.
So, I don't have a great place to start, and I actually wouldn't say it's a problem because there's enough material to talk about, but we have talked about some of the shows that I would say have influenced me.
Sure.
Airbender is probably the big one. Like that's And I mean, I'll take some time to say that it's fucking amazing again because it deserves it.
It's pretty good.
I still haven't read the comics.
Pretty good.
It's on my to-do list.
Comics are good.
Are they? Is it like the same people or some of the same people, like writers or anything, or is it just they have the approval?
I think it was just the approval. I forget who wrote them.
Okay.
But they were good, and the characters felt like the characters, which is
That's all that matters. Yeah.
thing. Well, and specifically, I'm referring to the ones that take place as like the follow-up to the events of the series. There's some other one that takes place earlier that I think is less good.
That sounds like it would be a thing.
But yeah, no, the Avatar comics are great because they're a continuation of the story. It's like, oh, this was the thing I actually wanted.
Yeah.
It's more with these characters doing new things.
So good. Just so good. And
But yeah, Avatar is a very good show.
Mm-hmm.
Good TV. It has that thing where season 2, every episode is like, yeah, we did it. Oh, everything's terrible.
Yeah.
It's the best. The best. It's why it's the thing Digimon did that was good.
Which Digimon?
Season 1.
Okay.
Adventure. Did it first.
It
was like
okay.
the thing in the middle of it. Well, the part of it that made it memorable, the most memorable, was people being hungry and
Food puns?
like the second-ish season or whatever being everything's going terribly at the end of every episode.
Yeah.
Ongoing plot
see
stuff. Again, like when I watched Avatar, what I compared it to was Digimon, except better. It did a bunch of structural things that Digimon Adventure did, except Avatar was like, and it did humor in a way Digimon did, but only in the dub, because Americans,
Yeah.
whatever.
Just that first episode, so different. Okay, so I wanted to look up the year that the show I'm going to talk about started. It was what? There was more? Okay. It's called Surface, and it was on NBC. I think I've seen it through like twice. And the first time was as it was airing, and it premiered in 2005. So I actually was watching this instead of Last Airbender on TV. Because we didn't have cable or satellite or anything. Or good internet. We still had dial-up. Fuck yeah. The show was... I think it was objectively good, at least for a while, and maybe that kind of changed partway through, which I think is not uncommon. So has a great hook. Like there's I think two or three storylines kind of going at once. These scientists find these like this huge unknown life form, like just massive, and it's super deep. I don't know, it's been so fucking long I can't remember the specifics, but like there are these lava craters at one point, and these creatures are just like hanging out by the like fresh magma, and they're super deep, like deep under the ocean. And so there's like scientists dealing with this, and like there's some stuff happening in the oceans and everything that's kind of coming up. And one of the things that happens there is this kid finds one of the little, like an egg of this thing, and he doesn't know what it is, and he puts it in his dad's aquarium, and the thing hatches, and it's like this little lizard monster thing that's Like, it's crazy, and it's like his pet though because he's raising it, and it eats someone's dog, and it's fucking great. And there some of the shots in it are like embedded in my mind, and I've been chasing that high ever since. One of them is it's an aerial view, and there's these people like partying on a boat, and one of them is I don't know where it's set. I want to say Australia, just to follow the stereotype. There's like people partying on a boat, but someone is also fishing for sharks, like industrial fishing sort of thing. So they have like the giant cable on the boat, and they like see a shark thrashing in the water, and they're like reeling it in. They're like, "Yo, we got it! Oh my god!" And everyone's like kind of drunk and whatever, and they reel in the shark, and it's just the shark head. Like the rest of the body is torn off, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And right before it cuts to commercial, you get an aerial shot, and the boat is like tiny, and it's sitting in the middle of the ocean, and there's this giant fucking mouth just coming up and encompassing the boat. Clearly a massive creature on a scale like nothing else. And that stuck with me. Like, that shit stuck with me. There's like a couple other underwater shots where you see these like lurching creatures in the backdrop, and they're just fucking massive. Amazing. Like, that's the moment I can point to and be like, this is what turned me on to like deep sea, like underwater, not quite horror, but I like big shit in the ocean.
Oh.
And it's like
Big
weird
shit in the
because if I were to just swim in the ocean, like if I was in the middle of the ocean and I just like hopped off the boat into the water, I'd also be fucking terrified at the same time, but also it would be euphoric. If that makes sense. I don't know.
It's too much. It's too much info, Ben.
It's I didn't know where I stopped and the sea began. The show also influenced me in a big way because it's probably the first instance, yeah, definitely the first instance, certainly not the only time that a TV series just fucked me. Season finale, interesting, super fucking interesting. I'm gonna spoil it, so I guess anyone who wants to go out and watch, cover your ears for like 2 seconds. The world floods, and we get that ending, like that season finale, and they're all just like on top of a building staring at all this shit, and there's all these creatures around and all this, and that's it. That's all we got. That got canceled. And there's no more. 11-year-old me was so disappointed. Actually, no, 12-year-old me. 12-year-old me was so sad and angry. And there's nothing I could do about it. I'm still upset about it. It's terrible. It's begging for more.
I mean, I guess that's what you get for liking a show I've never heard of.
Oh, holy fuck. Wow. How dare I? Especially 12-year-old me.
How? I mean, that's what you get for liking a show that wasn't popular enough to get another season.
I was 12, man. I just like what I like.
That's fair.
Neither did Firefly.
I mean,
Firefly didn't get another season. Wait, do you think Firefly is bad?
No, Firefly's good.
Okay.
I like the movie more than the TV show, though. I feel not. That's not a common opinion. That's how I feel. Show's good though.
Yeah.
People
have way too much of a boner over it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good, but I don't think it's that good. Like, it's not worth fiending over, I don't think. I don't know. Maybe that's it's probably because I watched it so late, and I like by that time, it's not like I was someone who fell in love with it and then it was canceled after like 12 episodes or whatever. And then I got the
It's
extras.
one of those things where it confuses me because I've watched so much garbage TV that just get to go on and on. It's like, this was pretty good, but nope. canceled pretty quick.
Law and Order. Fucking like a 1,000 years of Law and Order.
My go-to is there was like this show about this guy who could go back in time 7 days.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
Dumb sci-fi show.
Oh. Yeah. Is it a cop show? It's a cop show, isn't it? Does he work with the FBI? Is he a private investigator?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, there it is. They're all cop shows. They're all fucking cop shows, man.
I mean, you're not wrong.
iZombie.
It's an easy formula that works.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually... There's a segue. iZombie. More heartbreak. Influential. Realized everything's a cop show. They're all cop shows. House is a cop show. Grey's Anatomy, it's a cop show. They're all just cop shows in disguise.
I mean, yeah, House is just Sherlock Holmes, but as a cop show in a hospital. Pretty much.
We found this girl.
See, but I don't hate that. It's just, it's just done a lot.
Yeah,
it's a good framework for TV. Because the point of the thing I'll say about TV, the big thing with TV is like you have to like the characters and like the drive of it generally, to me, has to come from the characters, and then whether it's like formulaic or has a plot is like kind of incidental to that. Though if it has a plot, it's probably going to be more compelling and more meaningful over the long term. But there's something nice about episodic TV too.
Did you ever watch any iZombie at all? Or know what it is? Okay.
I know the comic has really good art that it's based on. Because
is a comic a
Mike
story?
Allred did the art.
Do you know?
He's a comic book artist I really like.
Is
the writing
comic
never interested me that much.
Is a comic a cop show though? Is it a cop comic?
I don't think so. No. I mean, that's one of those, like, they adapted this thing and turned it into formula, because that's what they do when you adapt things to TV.
I might check that out. Because the basic premise, right? Like, girl turns into a zombie, but she's not, she just wants brains, kind of. Like, she just eats brains, and she's otherwise fairly normal. It's kind of like a warm bodies situation. And I really like that. Like, she finds this doctor, and I thought I was going to get a show about someone like, oh, there's this terrible thing that happened, and they're, like, trying to fit into society, and it's, like, person versus society. No. She starts becoming a private investigator for some fucking reason, and then there's another guy who got turned into a zombie, and now we have a villain as well who's, like, killing. And I'm like, come on. Like, I just wanted even 7 episodes, but we got, like, 1. And then by episode 2, it's like it like has all the cops' phone numbers and is going to crime scenes and fuck off. I can't. I wanted one show. They took it from me. That's when I realized, fuck cop shows. And I just like started looking around, and they were everywhere. They were surrounding me. I couldn't escape. Surface wasn't a cop show.
Wasn't it?
I don't think so. That would be real disappointing. It was a cop show the whole time. I didn't notice. What about you? What about yourself?
I mean, the most influential is The Simpsons. That's not even. And we already talked about it basically during the
Disenchantment thing?
Yes, Disenchantment episode.
So wow, did you forget the name of the show?
I did. I blanked on the name.
Just call it Pastorama. So everybody else does.
Yeah. No, the Simpsons was the thing I was definitely the most obsessed with and the most influential. But let's talk about Beast Wars.
Beast Wars.
Transformers. Yes.
Okay.
The CGI Transformers cartoon where they're animals and dinosaurs.
I've missed so much TV.
It was good. So the thing about Beast Wars compared to the original Transformers cartoon is that because it was CG, like early CG, they could only have so many character models. So they didn't do the thing the original Transformers cartoon, which is just have too many fucking characters. So they're all like bland and have no character except for a handful.
Yeah.
So like all the characters in Beast Wars are way more like fleshed out as characters.
Yeah. You can't have
original Transformers.
Can't have a generic
have,
robot like
more of and it has more of an ongoing plot than that series did.
Nice.
And basically, it had like one season that was like a lot of episodes, and then 2 seasons that were shorter. And the shorter seasons were much heavier on stuff happening and plot, like characters dying, and there's aliens. And it turns out they think they're on like an alien world, and then it turns out it's Earth. As they do things that change how it is, like when they get there are 2 moons. But then they blow up one of the moons. And they're like, oh, now it's starting to look like Earth.
That classic, Wait, did they... Back up. Did they blow up the moon to make it look like Earth, or was there a different reason and it was a nice side effect?
It was a side effect.
Okay.
It was basically, after the moon blows up, it turned out to be a fake moon made by aliens. It wasn't a moon; it was a space station.
That's
then
no moon.
The characters start realizing, oh, maybe we are on Earth, because that's what they were trying to get to was Earth in the past. But and then fun stuff happens, like they find the ship for the original Transformers, because in the story of original Transformers, the Autobots land on Earth and are there for like 5 million years or something before they get woken up. Yeah, a long time.
So my knowledge of anything Transformers is super low. If you know, I would like the answer. If you don't, I absolutely don't care. Is their natural form a semi-truck, or did that come from something?
No, they scan Earth vehicles.
Thank you.
When they wake up.
They
turn into like weird alien cars on their homeworld.
Okay, so
but they're different shapes.
So it's still like a mobility thing, to a degree.
I mean, theoretically it's a disguise, but it's not a disguise ever. They don't actually. There's not enough writing for them to think of it as a disguise in the original series. Even though the tagline is Transformers, robots in disguise. Really, only Soundwave, who turns into a cassette player, ever is that stealthy about it.
And then, in Beast Wars, they're all like animals and shit.
Yeah. So it does the same thing where, like, when they wake up, it scans life forms. But in Beast Wars, it's to, like, protect them from energon radiation that is all over the planet.
I mean, I think...
Because there's not, like, people they have to worry about. The other good thing about Beast Wars is compared to other Transformers media is no human characters. So
that'd be pretty nice. From what I recall of the very little Transformers I've seen. Yeah. But in general, I like the concept of them turning into like creatures way more than cars.
I mean, in the original Transformers, my favorites were the Dinobots anyway. And then in Beast Wars, there's just a character who's called Dinobot. Turns into a raptor.
Noise.
And Megatron is a T-Rex. But so they're like...
Wait, what's Optimus Prime?
He's Optimus Primal. He turns into a silverback ape.
That's amazing. Holy shit. Optimus Primal. Oh my god. That's amazing.
It's very good. So like the basic setup is their like the ancestors of the Autobots and Decepticons, who have now become the Maximals and the Predacons.
Wait. So is this is a sequel to
Yeah, it's a sequel
Transformers?
series, but
they're
it takes
back in
place on like
time.
a prehistoric Earth.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they're back in time. So it's sort of like you're your own dad sort of thing or something, your own grandpa or whatever. Kinda.
It gets weirder than that when they then, like late in the series, Megatron finds the Ark where all the original Transformers are still asleep.
Great.
And first he tries to kill Optimus Prime, the original, which creates a time storm.
A time storm.
Yeah. Although then they stop him from like changing all of reality by repairing Optimus Prime. But that involves Optimus Primal taking out Optimus Prime's soul and putting it in his body for a while, which causes him to transform into a more robotic transformer. He can turn into a car and a jet.
Okay. I was really hoping you were just gonna say semi.
No, he doesn't become a semi. And then later Megatron is like gets jealous of that and then puts the original Megatron's soul in his body and he becomes a dragon.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
How long?
And one of the other main plot points is one of the characters, Dinobot, was a Predacon, but he's like, "Fuck you, Megatron! You didn't bring us to Earth. I'm not gonna follow you." And then he ends up joining the Autobots. First, he tries to become their leader, but that doesn't work out. He doesn't win that fight. And he's a pretty good character. He's got a good arc.
How long was this? Like, what was the season count or episode count or whatever?
Yeah, it ran for like 3 years.
Okay.
96 to 99. It was 52 episodes total. So, and season 1 was 26, and then there were a season 2 and a season 3 that were 13 each.
Gotcha. I mean, it sounds way better than what I know of Transformers.
Yes, it is definitely better than original Transformers. Though to watch it, you have to have a stomach for some pretty terrible CG. Mm-hmm. I think that they spent their money in the right place when they made it. In that the character models look pretty good for what they are, for being shapes, kind of. The environments look like are like real, just a couple polygons.
Yeah,
in a lot of places. But like that, like the big influence on me on that is honestly like just the way the fights were staged and the way like the weapons worked was pretty burned into my brain. They would fire these like big energy balls sometimes fly around. It had like, I don't know, it had like more weight to it than the combat in, say, original Transformers ever did, or in a lot of kids action shows.
Gotcha.
Sometimes they fucked it up. Like there's one scene I remember of Optimus Prime and Primal and Megatron just shooting at each other and missing completely at point blank range. But that's a little rarer.
Yo, hold up. Moving targets are tricky. Shotgun effects aside.
Right in front of each other, just unloading and screaming and missing completely.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's stormtrooper level accuracy, though.
Yeah, man. But yeah, also the thing where it gives Transformers souls, where they have a spark, which is like a physical thing inside of them, is fun.
That comes out
and they do.
That's like in the movies, right?
Stuff. They like mention it in the movies, I think. But yeah, that's from Beast Wars. That's where that idea came from. And then there was a sequel series, Beast Machines, but that had a different writing team and was kind of infuriating because they fucked up some of the characterization on the characters.
Yeah, that checks out.
So it was obnoxious. Though it does have its high points, and I actually think the last episode is fucking great. I fucking love the last episode. Because Megatron, like, they have like these new organic bodies, and it's all like organic versus technology themes.
Mm-hmm.
But and then where Megatron's like the technology side, and then Optimus Primal becomes like a fanatical organic thing. But at the end, Megatron gives himself Optimus Primal's like old body, which is pretty good. So he's in the like tank jet,
the gorilla thing,
giant, gorilla body. It's pretty good.
Fuck yeah.
But that series has plenty of problems.
Mm-hmm.
They fucked up Rat Trap is the most. That was the worst thing they did. But then he falls in love with a plant lady transformer.
Okay, well, that's understandable. Come on.
Uh-huh. I knew you'd be on board for that one.
Plants, dude.
Yeah. I think the team that wrote the Beast Machines was the team that wrote the Fox Kids Godzilla cartoon based on the 98 movie.
Mm-hmm.
Which was like a cop show. But
yeah.
Godzilla, you know.
As you do.
As TV does. As TV is wont to do.
Man. Yeah, I can't even remember. It wasn't original Transformers. There's no way.
Was it Transformers Armada?
I don't know. There was definitely like Optimus Prime was a semi.
Uh-huh.
That happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were definitely. I just remember there being people, and I didn't even as a kid. Like I just didn't like it that much. I think it's because I was never a car guy. Like, yeah, okay, there's cars, but eh. Now the Power Rangers thing where their Megazord whatever could turn into a train. That's good stuff. I don't remember any of the specifics about it, but that train toy kicked ass. Cars. Lame.
Train.
Also, for the longest time, I did not know that Voltron was like it didn't register to me that it was ever a TV show because I had a Voltron toy. Like, you know, you could put all the... You could assemble it. It had all the arms and legs and the body and shit. Yeah. And there was also, like, the Power Rangers toy that was, like, the train. But then you could take all the different cars and put them together and make the dude. And me and my brother would, like, fight each other with them.
Yeah.
It's all Power Rangers, man. It's all the same.
Well, yeah. I mean, so, it is all the same. The funny thing is, with Transformers, it basically is that. Like, there were a bunch of transforming robot toys in Japan that were not affiliated with each other, but when they brought them to the US, they just put them all together and made the Transformers cartoon as a way to link them. But, like, they were just different toys. They weren't originally conceived as being the same thing.
Okay.
That's kind of... And, like, Voltron as a show is, like, cobbled together from, like, 3 or 4 different shows that they just put the footage together from. none of that shit is one thing.
Yeah.
Except Power Rangers. Power Rangers was one thing that then they added U.S. footage to.
Which
Of
parts?
teenagers hanging out. Like, basically, they added Saved by the Bell to it.
So, like, the nonsense.
The non-action. Yeah, the action parts were all the Japanese footage, but then, like, who was behind the mask in their daily lives was all new American footage. It was like the Power Rangers formula, where they're, like, ripping out all the action from Japanese TV shows.
Gotta slow it down, man. Kids can't handle that.
Kids cannot handle it. I guess. I don't know. Kids can handle a lot.
I mean, yeah. Given the stuff that kids watch if left to their own devices. I'm thinking about, like, going back to Simpsons and stuff. Because I was, like, young enough, and it was okay. But it would only ever, like, it wasn't on super often where I could watch it. And then Family Guy came about. Simpsons, yeah. Like, was not on often.
Oh,
and
weird. It was on, like, twice a day, always.
Was that, like, just normal TV channels?
Like, on Fox. Yeah.
I don't know. I know I remember seeing it on at night, but, like, part of why I didn't watch it as much was, like, they're making all these references and stuff, and I don't get it. And then in Family Guy, they say the thing, and then they show the thing, and I can laugh, because there's a thing in front of me. And so that was great. That phase didn't last long. Like, I turned whatever age and went back to The Simpsons. I'm like, oh, I don't need to be explained the thing, because it's just cultural. Like, it's fine. You can reference this, and I get it now. And then I never watched Family Guy again.
Hooray!
Yeah.
I'm glad that story had a happy ending.
Yeah. I know some people who, like, really, really like Family Guy. And
I did the thing where I didn't like it, and then it got canceled. And then people were into it on DVD, and I gave it another shot. And I was like, yeah, this is funny.
Yeah.
And then they brought it back and pounded it into ground, and it was like, this isn't funny anymore.
See, that's the thing.
And it actually got to the point where it was definitely trying not to be funny. It's definitely just trying to test the patience of its audience. And that's not fun to watch.
No. So, that was interesting. I did fully miss South Park. Like, that just never entered my
Yeah, I got into South Park from when it launched when I was 10.
Yeah, the classic age.
I mean, those kids were my age. It was natural.
I played a South Park video game. We, like, rented one because it was, like, the racing.
Oh, the racing game.
Yeah.
Not the GoldenEye ripoff. That was the one I played a lot of.
That's like, do you just, like, throw snowballs or something?
Yeah, your basic weapon is a snowball, or you can pee on it to increase its damage.
Great.
That's your basic weapon.
No, I played, like, the racing game, because this was way before my parents knew anything about video games, so the M on the thing, it's just a letter. It's just there. Doesn't mean shit, so they found, they did the research very thoroughly after I inexplicably told my sister I was going to kick her ass one day, and I didn't play that game anymore. Yeah, I was like 5 or 6 or something. So, didn't watch South Park, but it still left a bit of a mark.
South Park's another one I just loved the movie.
Yeah.
And I don't really care about the show at all anymore. But that movie, though.
I
You're
still haven't
longer and
seen it.
uncut.
I haven't seen it in its entirety.
It's good. It is. It's a good time.
I think I don't want to be judged for this, but I'm going to throw Rick and Morty into the same category, just like animation for adults.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that almost spoke to me a little bit more, just because that was I watched that and I was like, oh shit, like this is good. It's not fully nonsense, kind of like Family Guy felt like for a while. And that was I did Rick and Morty. I think I watched the first season before I ever watched South Park, maybe, or before I like got into South Park and actually watched through a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't tell people I watch Rick and Morty in person, obviously, but just can't. But I'll say it here. At the risk of being called a fan.
I mean, we did an episode on it. It's like our second episode.
Yeah. It wasn't our second episode. Was it that early?
I think so.
Damn. I mean, that's a long time ago.
It is.
But that was that was that show is an experience still. I was gonna point to it as kind of a point when I enjoyed something that ended up having a garbage fandom. Mm-hmm. And I think that's still true, because the only alternative thing would be I did watch, at the request of a friend, and it was not Bruce, I watched the first 2 seasons of My Little Pony. And it wasn't worth it.
Like, do it.
It was I get it, but also I can't. I can't. It's just not.
First of all, it's not horses. So
yeah, no.
It's a deal breaker.
Yeah, fuck horses. Not literally. But not a horse fan.
Yeah, I had already read Gulliver's Travels, so that was a no-go.
Oh my god. I'd watch that show, though. Realistic, like, full 2018 CGI. Houyhnhnms.
And then he skinned the babies.
Hell yeah, dude. I think
the softest babies to make the sale.
If the show were, like, about dragons, it would be a lot better. They'd have me still, maybe. But I just... Yeah, I finished... Like, you watch the 2 seasons or whatever, and I knew there was a third one coming out. Apparently it's still fucking going. Like, there's 8 seasons now or something. I don't know. I thought it died, like, ages ago. But I knew there was a 3rd season coming. And my friend was excited about it. And I don't know, she talked about it all the time, and I, like, was looking up the date one day, and, like, that it started or that it premiered or whatever. And then I just fell down that rabbit hole, and I couldn't do it. I had to climb out. Not look back. Start shoveling dirt down there so no one else falls in.
Yeah, I couldn't get 10 minutes into an episode of that. I just couldn't do it. I was like, nope, this is not for me. Not for me.
I had a crush on this person, so that definitely, like...
That's fair.
Played a role. The quality of content that fandom puts out is kind of absurd. But... I don't know.
I know, I also didn't like the way it looked. I didn't like its animation style.
I could see that. I thought it was okay, but after, like, I mean, this is long after the fact, but seeing people argue about, like, oh, the animation is so good, like, I watch it because it's just an objectively good, like, it's not good enough to be used as an excuse to watch the show, I don't think.
I mean, I just don't. Yeah, I don't think the animation is. I don't like it, so I can't. That argument doesn't hold any water to me. I think it looks crummy.
I think the
I was intrigued mostly because I liked Lauren Faust's previous thing, which was she worked on with Steve McCracken. It was Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. I like that show.
Yeah, Foster's Home is good shit.
Yeah.
And actually, I thought about kind of putting that on my like head list for this, but I just didn't watch enough of it, I feel like. But it was definitely one that, like, if I saw it, if I was somewhere that had cable or satellite, so usually my grandparents or other relatives' house, and I was flicking through channels and I saw that on the guide, I would click it like every time. And it was just good. Yeah. Like, it was just, I never was disappointed by it.
Yeah. No, it was a quality show. It had fun ideas. It did interesting stuff sometimes.
I'm gonna lump two together because they're kind of the same thing, at least as far as why they stuck out in my mind so much. One is SpongeBob, like early first started SpongeBob, because that's one that I was actually there at the beginning.
That's another one where I really just like the movie.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
SpongeBob was also one where, so I was like super into all the Nicktoons leading up to that one, and was like into watching the premiere with my friends. And when SpongeBob happened, it was like, nope, we're done, we're out. Did really strong dislike for the first episode, but I've come around on it to being okay, though I still don't love it, the show, but I really like that first movie. That first movie is good.
The other show that's getting lumped in here is, well, show, I guess, kind of movie. It's so far back, but Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, that one I never watched.
I don't think I ever want to watch a full episode of that show again, because the clips are like, fucking Carl saying croissant is basically the peak of that show's existence. But Jimmy Neutron, the show, and SpongeBob, when it first came out, they both did a weird thing where adults liked it for some reason. Like, if we were watching SpongeBob at my grandparents' house, like, sometimes my parents or uncles or whoever would usually, well, uncles or like my dad. I think most of the women in my family also thought it was stupid, which makes sense. But like, SpongeBob would be on, and they'd be like, they wouldn't mind watching it. Like, they wouldn't complain as much about this cartoon as other cartoons. And Jimmy Neutron, for some reason, my dad just thought was hilarious. I don't know why. Out of all the cartoons that we watched, he was like, I think he just liked Carl. He just liked how ridiculous, like, all the Carl and Sheen. He just liked how ridiculous they are. And how stupid everything was. But yeah, I don't know. That was like big for me, because, oh man, I can watch like cartoons and adults are watching them. And it wasn't something like the Simpsons or whatever. I don't know why they liked them. But for kid me, that was just nice. I had people on my side.
You weren't being shamed.
Yeah, when
silently judged or verbally judged.
Yeah, when like my mom or my grandma would ask if it was educational, like, I didn't have to stick up for myself. Like, my dad or one of my uncles would be like, it's not educational, but it's funny. And I'd be like, yeah, ha, you're an adult. You can fight back.
You can fight back.
You can fight back. Yeah. I mean, what am I going to do? I was tiny, man.
Yeah. So we've mentioned a lot of shows where I just liked the movie better than the TV show. So I'm going to talk about a TV show that mattered a lot to me, and then the movie happened, and I was like, fuck this, which was Rugrats. I really liked Rugrats. I liked a lot as a kid. It was top tier for me with The Simpsons. And then the movie happened, and I fucking hated it.
Was the first movie the one with Dill?
Yeah, the one where they introduced Dill.
Where like Tommy was gonna fucking sacrifice him.
Or whatever.
Kill him. Yeah. He was gonna die, dude.
Yeah, that made sense. That was the right thing to do. Dill was terrible. Hated Dill.
He's a baby. He's like a baby. He doesn't have sentence yet.
Exactly. He's a baby. In a show about babies who are not babies.
No, wait. Was that the first one, or were Rugrats go on vacation? Was that?
I think
first.
I don't fucking remember. They go to Paris, I think.
Yeah.
All Rugrats go to Paris. I hated it, and that it's where they introduced Dill. That is
okay. I think that might have. Yeah. I don't know which one was first.
And again, Rugrats is not a show I have any desire to go back to, but it was very important to me at the time.
We watched it. I watched it a fair bit. Me and my siblings did. I don't remember like any of it. I remember bits. I remember like bits and pieces. Yeah. The movies are a tiny bit clear in my mind. The Paris one used Who Let the Dogs Out, so yeah.
Oh, so it was from that year. Because fucking everything used Who Let the Dogs Out. My strongest memory of Who Let the Dogs Out was when the Mets used it as their theme song when they made the World Series.
Yeah.
It was a very popular song. That's garbage.
Yeah, no, it's actually just not zero to like. I'll listen to Mambo Number 5 now and again. I don't think I've ever looked up Who Let the Dogs Out in my own time, and I've actively sought it out to hear it again because I just don't need to.
It's not important.
Y'all had that one refrain and just really took it. Shit, I was gonna with like Rugrats that made me think of something. I was gonna say it, and I have no idea what it was now.
I mean, the thing I would lump in with Rugrats would be Muppet Babies, which I also loved as a kid, and I don't think I could go back to.
I never saw that.
Again, Muppet Babies has an episode where they're just like inserting footage from the Star Wars movies and reenacting scenes.
Great. That's amazing.
And because it's Lucasfilm, they can use the footage of Star Wars, so that was pretty important to me.
That's awesome, dude. I mean, maybe I go back and watch Muppet Babies. Is it canon?
At least,
what level of canon is it in Legends?
I don't think it's
like D grade.
I think it's just, it's not canon at all.
Is it above or below?
They also probably did that. I think they did that with Indiana Jones too, probably at some point, because that would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you got it, why not?
But like, Star Wars was what I cared about. That's the memory that stuck with me.
Sure,
I'll say.
I did remember the show I was gonna mention, like what Rugrats made me think of for some reason. Sonic Underground, and I don't know what the other Sonic. It wasn't Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. It was the one where, it's such a. There was like a chicken, like a robotic chicken was one of the enemies, and I remember the end credits, like Dr. Robotnik was trying to like bring a door thing down on Sonic, but he ran past it and he stands under the door and it falls on him, and that was like an end credits bit, I believe. So I don't know, that's like all I remember about this show. But Sonic Underground, that was fucking amazing for me because it's one of the few cartoons that we had access to at a time other than Saturday mornings or PBS Kids shows after school. So it was on at like 8 in the morning or something. So if we didn't have school or it was like a snow day or something, we got to watch Sonic Underground. Also, wasn't important to me at the time, but while I have a platform to say it on, I think it's worth noting that the theme song of Sonic Underground is a quintessential example of power metal to a T, and could be used as a template for bands to write power metal songs. It has it all. It really does. You got a chorus, you got a full storyline, you have a bridge where a chick is just talking, and then it goes back to the chorus again with choral, like a chorus effect on the refrain. Beautiful. 10 out of 10. Absolute best.
Yeah. So there were 2 Sonic shows before Sonic Underground, and they aired simultaneously and had the same person voicing Sonic the Hedgehog.
Was it Janelle White or whatever?
Yes, it was Urkel. And one was the silly comedy one with the robot chicken thing, and one had more plot.
Yeah, the Freedom Fighters and whatever.
Yeah.
I have that on DVD.
Cool.
Yeah, he has a floppy guitar in the first episode.
Yeah.
It's like a undercooked pizza slice.
Like, I think both those shows were better than, like, the Super Mario cartoon, but neither of them are anything I really care about either.
What about the Legend of Zelda cartoon, though?
I mean, he does say, well, excuse me, princess, a lot in that, so it's got that going for it.
Yeah.
He combined Han Solo and the Jerk for that version of Link. Is what that is. He combined, well, excuse me, and Han Solo saying, well, excuse me, princess.
Is that, like, are those direct?
Basically. Pretty much.
Okay. I mean the Han Solo thing I knew, like, I didn't think about the...
He does say,
jerk.
excuse me, princess.
Yeah, no, like, the
Yes.
line itself, but just that tone of, like, excuse me. I didn't know that was,
excuse
like,
me is the jerk. That's the...
Yeah, I didn't know that
It's a
was...
movie.
Like, I didn't connect that.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's what that Legend of Zelda thing is doing. He's combining Han Solo and the jerk for some reason.
I mean, why not?
And then repeating it over and over and over and over again. The
Gotta
number
give
of
the-
times he says that per episode is staggering.
Gotta give the kids something to say. They all need a catchphrase.
Gotta have a catchphrase.
Yeah, like, you know, fucking, you watch Sonic enough as a kid and you start asking for chili dogs and, like, saying, way past cool. And then everyone fucking hates you. Because nobody should ever talk like that or say those things. Chili dogs are fine. If you want a chili dog, that's whatever. That show turned me on to
Catchphrases,
chili
though.
dogs. Yeah, no, way past cool is not way past cool.
I
Said
mean, it is
Bummer
not
May-
cool.
He said Bummer May Horace a lot. I don't know why, but he does.
Okay.
Now, now you know.
Now I know. I guess I should talk about, like, as a comic book fan, I would seek out all the comic book TV shows I could find,
Shocking.
including the older ones that are all terrible. They're all bad.
Wasn't there a good Superman one? Or like the animation was really impressive for the time?
Those aren't TV shows. Those were film shorts. Yeah, the Max
gotcha.
Fleischer ones. Also, some of them are incredibly racist.
Okay, come on. Who wasn't back
So
in the
those
day,
ones
dude?
are less good, but like the original, like the ones that are not super racist are fucking incredible. They're really good pieces of animation.
And then you have
Superman
like
punches a laser beam. It's really good.
And then on the flip side, you got 60s Spider-Man.
I mean, it's very memeable. It's got that going for it. It's unwatchable, but it's memeable.
I watched
I watched a lot more of. Well, not a lot. I watched the X-Men episodes of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends a lot because my friends had them on VHS, which were the first animated appearances of the X-Men. It was Spider-Man, His Amazing Friends, Iceman, and Firestar Firestar was a character they created for the TV show because they were like, yeah, we want the Human Torch, but we want a girl, which is fair enough. You don't want to have Spider-Man and his 2 blonde dude friends. Though, personally, I would have kept the Human Torch and maybe gotten rid of Iceman, because Iceman sucks.
Well, I mean, maybe you shouldn't be sexist.
Maybe I shouldn't be sexist.
I'm looking
I
at
like Firestar.
I'm looking at Firestar right now. That's some childhood crush material right there.
Yeah, you're not wrong. The show was bad, though. It was very bad. But it was hilarious in spots. So, I had fun making fun of it.
Yeah.
There's also the... Well, what is it? Yeah. That has the line where Wolverine... When Wolverine in it, and he puts his fucking claw through some fruit and hands it out and says, "Want a piece of fruit?"
Oh no.
Also, they gave Wolverine an Australian accent for some reason.
Well, that's because Hugh Jackman's Australian.
Exactly. That's why they cast Hugh Jackman, I guess. Because for some reason, people who make X-Men adaptations think Wolverine's Australian.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, exactly. They also adapted like one of the best Spider-Man comics, and it still isn't good for somehow.
Oh, no.
Nothing Can Stop the Juggernaut. But, you know, it's a thing. It exists. Mostly just that line. Spider-Man and his amazing friends. Iceman and Firestar. It's good. The problem is, too much of one of the X-Men ones was all about how Firestar got bullied by this girl throughout her whole life. That was the, like, plot.
Was it another superhero or was it just some bitch?
No, it was just some asshole.
Great.
She was just mean for no reason. Constantly. Throughout Firestar's life. It was all about how Firestar had to overcome that. And then the next episode is all about Firestar's ex-boyfriend who's turned into a cyborg and taken over the X-Men's mansion.
Great.
Locks everyone in rooms and tries to kill them. It's not good stuff. But then there are the 90s comic book cartoons, like Batman the Animated Series, which is and the DC ones were by far the best, which was a bummer for me as a kid because I was more of a Marvel guy as a comic book fan, but the Batman cartoon was just better. It actually was part of the reason I didn't get into Batman comics, because the comics were never as good as that TV show. Like, Batman the Animated Series has, like, the best version of Batman, period. It's just like they distilled it out perfectly, and then they tell the stories of his villains as, like, good tragedies. It's just fucking good. And then everything they built on top of it, like the Superman show and Justice League, those are all good. I think the weakest part is, like, the first season of Justice League. They hadn't worked out the character dynamics or something. It feels weak, but it gets better later. Even the series where it's about even the series that's about Batman has become an old man and quit, and then there's the new hot new Batman. Even that show is good. Batman Beyond rules because it's secretly Spider-Man.
Yeah, Batman Beyond that's what I watched.
Yeah, that one
that's
what if Batman were Spider-Man in the cyberpunk future, basically.
Isn't, like, old Batman in it as well?
Yeah. Bruce Wayne's an old man.
Yeah.
The thing I really like about that is they show why Batman quit. is like the first scene of that show.
I don't
Where
remember any of it.
he's like having a
Not
heart
gonna lie.
attack and has to use a gun to stop a criminal to save someone. He's like, "Fuck this!
I can't do
I'm
this.
done. I'm done." He's
Weird.
like, yeah, Batman would quit if he had to do that. He can't be Batman anymore. That makes sense.
Was Alfred still alive?
No.
Okay.
Alfred was definitely not still alive. But that show also had Ace the Bat Hound. But they downplayed the part where he was Ace the Bat Hound, and they just called him Ace, and he was a dog. He was just a normal dog. They didn't dress him up in a Batman costume.
They didn't make the little,
They didn't give him a little cape, no.
damn. Man, that's kind of garbage, but damn.
And the only original villain they bring back in the show is Mr. Freeze. And he comes back as he's just a head now.
I think I recall some of that, yeah. That sounds right.
Yeah, and the worst thing they did was their retconning Batgirl and Batman to have been fucking. That stuff never worked.
Ugh.
And they did like an
Ooh.
epilogue for Batman Beyond as an episode of Justice League, and that episode is terrible. And like retcons a lot of stuff in dumb ways that I don't even want to talk about.
Hank rants about Batman, the episode.
It's just this one episode that's all about retconning, and it's terrible and pointless. I hate it. I hate it.
So it's like Highlander 2.
I don't care about Highlander. So I
Okay,
don't
well, first
have any
off,
opinions on
fuck
Highlander
you.
2.
Man.
And then there were the Marvel cartoons, which were less good, but I loved them. Like X-Men and Spider-Man. And
Yeah.
then Spider-Man Unlimited was terrible. I couldn't even watch it. It was the one where he goes to space,
What?
where he's like on the High Evolutionaries planet. Yeah, Spider-Man goes to space.
Is
And
it like
Venom and
a
Carnage are just like weird, just the symbiote creatures that merge and they follow him, and I hate it because they're weird and terrible.
Is it like an episode thing or is it like a show thing?
It was a show, Spider-Man Unlimited. It was like
no,
the
but I
sequel
mean, like,
series.
But I mean, like, was space
Goes to
an
space.
episode or was that? Oh no!
The whole show takes
Oh,
place in another
no.
planet where they're like
That's-
horse people and stuff.
Whinums.
Yeah,
Oh no!
because
Hey,
the High Evolutionary.
You know, it's not like the greatest time to ask, but I'm gonna do it now. There were the Whinums, right?
Yeah.
And there were the Lilliputs.
Uh-huh.
And there were the big people that I can't remember their name.
Yeah.
What was the fourth thing? He went somewhere else.
Those are the people who had to like slap themselves in the face. It was the making fun of like a kind of thinking and philosophy where they wanted to like make water run uphill and stuff.
Right. I don't remember that section almost at all. So, okay, we'll deviate. I was thinking about that the other day and I couldn't remember the answer. Here we are.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, Spider-Man in space doesn't sound good.
It was bad. There was
I
also there was an MTV Spider-Man cartoon that was in the universe of the movies that was bad CG, and that was bad too.
I don't know how to
Like the
differentiate.
Tobey Maguire movies.
Okay, so like the ones with emo Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Cool. That's how I differentiate them.
I don't know. He's pretty emo in the Andrew Garfield's not like he's skater dude. Peter Parker, I guess. He's a skateboard, and he doesn't know that with great power comes great responsibility. Basically, is the way they depicted that version. That's what I remember.
Have any of the adaptations addressed the unintentional web shooting wet dream analogy?
No, because none of them do his origin.
Okay.
I think all of them just start with like, yeah, he's been Spider-Man for a while.
The Broadway play definitely addressed it. Was great.
Yeah.
Goo everywhere.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. Then there's the best Spider-Man cartoon, which was Spectacular Spider-Man. Which is
I remember
later, but that one is actually great. That series is super good.
I remember skipping over it.
I know a lot of people don't like the way it looked, the animation style.
I've just never been into superheroes.
Yeah, fair enough. I have always been super into Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And that show has like the best version of Venom that I've seen. Of Eddie Brock Venom. It was a good thing. Well made. And it did plot structure really well, where it would kind of do 3-episode arcs. Where like each episode was kind of episodic, but it would also build into like this little 3-episode structure inside the whole season structure.
That's nice.
Which was very effective. And, like directed, so it always felt like stuff was happening.
Instead of just, well, we have our big shit and then like 5 episodes of filler, buckle up.
Yeah, no, it didn't have like any filler. It was super good. It got canceled when as part of like part of the deal with Sony, because it was made by Sony when they owned the Spider-Man license with the movies, and then there was rights stuff that switched back to where Marvel got the rights back to make their own Spider-Man cartoon, and that got Spectacular Spider-Man canceled, and then there was a new Spider-Man cartoon that I don't even remember the name of, and I didn't like, because Peter Parker was just a jerk in it. Is like my big memory. Like, I just didn't like him as a character in it, which is a pretty big deal breaker.
Yeah. So the last show I wanted to talk about was Boston Legal. Oh, you don't like Boston Legal?
No, Boston Legal's great.
Okay. Just checking.
I like
Need to
Boston
know if
Legal.
I should get the fucking defenses up.
I mean, it's a lawyer show, which is basically a cop show.
Look,
That's
there
all
are
I'm saying.
exceptions. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, totally acceptable cop show. I understand why some people dislike it, but it focuses enough on things that aren't the cop part that it's actually good in that regard. Like, it doesn't feel like a cop show. And
Cop shows can be good, Ben. Cop shows can be good.
You know what?
It's fine.
Cop shows are like anime. They're fucking garbage until they prove otherwise. Guilty until proven innocent. But yeah, Boston Legal. Great lawyer cop show. They're just like, I think when it was on TV, like by the time my dad liked it, but my sister was super into Law & Order SVU for a long time. Like, arguably she started loving that show when children shouldn't be allowed to watch that show, but what can you do? And just like watch the shit out of it in like middle school, junior high. And then we both kind of we saw our dad watching Boston Legal one day, and it was great. We just happened to come in on like a banger of a scene, and it was good times.
Shatner's finest performance.
Yeah. Is it also Alan Shore's finest performance?
That one I'm less sure of, I'll say. I'm not going to say no, but I'm not going to say
like
no.
what's in your mind as like
I don't even know. He's just good.
I just like him and stuff. Like I think Blacklist is real meh, but I'm like fucking losing my mind. What's his actual name? It's not Alan Shore, is it?
Nope.
No. I do that a lot. I'm gonna fucking kick my what's his name?
James Spader.
James Spader. Fuck. I do that so much. Alan Shore is also great though. Great character. No, I just really like fucking Alan Shore. I just really like James Spader. Fuck off. He's a lizard king. Best part of The Office. Changed my mind.
James Spader's best role was not when he played Ultron in Avengers 2.
He was in Avengers. Okay, I didn't know that.
He played the evil robot in Avengers 2.
Did they change his voice too much? Did he get to be like himself?
I mean, they didn't really change his voice, no. They put like a effect on it, but
yeah. Would it? I don't.
I mean,
if
it was better that it was his voice, but that movie is garbage.
I feel like I'd probably just want Ultron to win if it's James Spader voice. Like fuck it.
He doesn't have a good enough idea about what he actually wants to do to win.
Fair enough. I mean, that's like the Thanos stuff, right? Kill half the people, couldn't just like double the resources.
Oh, Alan Shore was his character's name.
Yeah, in Boston Legal, it's Alan Shore.
Yeah.
And I always fucking yeah. It's like Daniel Radcliffe. He's actually just kind of Harry Potter now, so. William Shatner though. He's just William Shatner. I can't even. Is it Denny? It's Denny. In Boston Legal. But yeah, great show. Just I don't even know if it influenced me in a particular way, but it's probably one of the earliest, I guess, quote unquote adult shows. Like it wasn't a cartoon and it was live action and it wasn't necessarily, it was funny and it like there's Scrubs funny, right, where it's like fucking nail on, just pounding it in, like this is obviously hilarious and it's a different type of humor. And then Boston Legal and anything like that, the humor is not always direct, like it's gonna be more nuanced, I guess, or something.
I don't know, there was that duck.
Yeah, I mean there's like it's not always nuanced, but the line that fucking like I think is still top tier in the entirety of Boston Legal is when the judge is like, "Sit down, Mr. Shore," and he's like, "I am sitting," and the camera cuts to him and he's standing up. It's just like dead silent for 5 seconds. Fucking amazing. But that was like my first big boy show.
Look, I'm just glad you admitted you like the cop show.
I enjoyed House for a while until it got like it was too much.
I always liked House, even when it was too much.
I still watched it. I just I don't know.
Although that's not true. There was like one season in like the second or third one. I was like, this is too much, and then I turned around on it forever. I was like, nope, this is just I'm in to the end.
Is it the one where he was like hallucinating everything for like 100 episodes straight? Oh, Wilson's
I think it was when he fired everyone the first time.
Okay, so that's pretty early-ish then, all things
It
considered.
was pretty early.
I just remember that span of like, what's her name? Wilson's fiance or girlfriend died, and then House was like seeing her in visions or something, and then like House got better, but then he wasn't better. Like his leg was better, and then it wasn't better, and then it turns out that the better thing was a hallucination and something else happened, and then he had them do the surgery, so he was better for a while, but then some like.
Yeah, that sounds like House.
Yeah, I was just like, You guys,
And then he goes to jail. And then he fakes his own death.
Yeah, it just fucking went off the deep end. And then they did that Shawshank Redemption ending.
Yeah, it's weird.
But like up until then, House is one that my family all watched.
So now I'm gonna talk about a cop show.
Oh no.
I'm gonna talk about The Wire.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that.
Which I think is, to me, is the best TV show. That's not anime.
No spoilers though.
No spoilers though.
Okay, it's the best. It's the best show I haven't watched.
Yeah. So, the thing about The Wire is that it's not a cop show in that formula sense, because it's much more about the city.
Oh.
Like in the first season, it's as much about the criminals as it is the cops.
I have seen most of the first season.
Yeah, so
which is why
and
I
then
need to continue.
From then on, basically every season they add on a layer of the city. Mm-hmm. The second season goes to the docks with the dock worker and the unions. The third season goes back to the drug war, but adds in politics more. We have a character running for mayor. The fourth season goes into the school system in Baltimore. And then the fifth season brings in the newspaper stuff. So it's always like kind of expanding the show. And it does the thing of it, like the main character gets McNulty gets like taken out of the show for like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Character matters that much.
Even from like, I don't know how much of the first season I saw, but even from that, it's like, this is fucking good. Like, this might just actually be the best.
It's really good. And I think it's really good. Like, the thing I would tell people who haven't seen it is you just watch the first scene where McNulty gets told about this guy who's been murdered, Snot Boogie.
Yeah.
It's the whole story of Snot Boogie.
It's so, yeah.
And it's just fucking great. And funny and sad.
The thing that, like, I think it was Mike, maybe? My friend Mike, he summed up, he's like, it's great because Baltimore is a character. Like, there's so much focus on the city, and that, like, even in the bits I've seen,
and the other thing I would say about it that really makes it great, I think, as TV, is that every season is kind of, it has this overall story focus, but every season kind of turns on a character being so fed up with the system that they try to do something to like fight it. Like with the first season, it is McNulty creating a stink and trying to get this wire set up.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing about the wire in The Wire gets set up like at the second to last episode of the first season. Like a lot of it is just going through all the blue tape and headaches of the system to get it off the ground.
Also, there's that scene where they only say fuck.
Yes, there is that scene.
And it's amazing.
Oh, there's so much good cursing.
There's
so much good cursing.
See, like, that was the thing that kind of made me sad. And again, like, my parents watched Game of Thrones after saying that House of Cards was too much.
Uh-huh.
And then they watched Game of Thrones, like, bought and binged 7 seasons of Game of Thrones. And I'm like, hey, you guys are doing harder stuff now. You should watch The Wire. And I get done with the first episode, and they're like, it has way too much swearing. And I'm like, for real? I walked in once, and one of you said that you hoped that the person in Game of Thrones got skinned alive. Too much swearing? Oh my god, yeah. No, Wire is, yeah, the greatest show I haven't seen. And, like, there's no excuse for it, even. I think it's on Prime.
I highly recommend it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I even like the seasons that people criticize about it. I like all of them. I think they're
Yeah.
all good. Some are better than others, but like, of course they are.
Yeah, no, it's like with Pokemon, the
I mean,
games.
the big thing that got criticized was the 5th season, and that's because it was about journalism, and journalists are like, "That's not how it is." It's like, yeah, because it's a TV show, you idiots.
Yeah.
Like all of this is gonna have like differ from reality in certain ways. This is the one where you see through it too much.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't separate yourself from it. You fools.
Oh, this is, you know what? This actually just reminded me of one more that I want to mention, like briefly. So I was gonna say that if you release like with Pokemon, like for me it was Gen 5, but if you release anything long enough, there's gonna be something that's like subpar. Every band is gonna have an album that kind of flubs a little bit. There's always gonna be one that's maybe a tiny bit worse. Even if it's just a tiny bit worse, there's always gonna be something. I don't know if that's actually true with It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like, I haven't caught up on like the last 2 or 3 seasons, but up until that point, like through all 10 or 11 or whatever, it just kept getting better. Because it just gets more fucking absurd.
Oh, they're so terrible.
No, they're awful, but it's amazing. And that show actually was really important. And I guess it's kind of the counterpart to The Sopranos. It made me realize that like it forced me, in order to enjoy it, like you have to obviously know, if you watch it all and you're not experiencing this for the first time, it's pretty obvious that like they're all massive narcissistic assholes and they're not going to change.
Yeah, no.
I stupidly walked in expecting character development.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so it took like 5 or 6 episodes, or maybe even the full first season. I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, they're not going to change. But it's so fucking amazing that it's like, okay, you just got to let go of that and you're good. You just sit back and enjoy the ride. Sopranos, I didn't do that at all. Fuck Sopranos.
Sopranos was the thing. It's like, me and my dad watched The Sopranos, and we were into it. We binge basically seasons on DVD when they came to our video store. Mm-hmm. And then we discovered The Wire, and we're like, yeah, whatever with The Sopranos. The Wire is the real good shit.
Yeah.
My big problem with The Sopranos is just like the writers got mad that people like their main characters, so they were like, we have to make him more horrible.
Yeah.
And it made the show less enjoyable.
Yeah, and a lot of people I've seen like point to how it's supposed to be nihilistic and stuff. Like everything is just kind of garbage.
Yeah, but then I don't like it as much.
It's
not fun to watch.
Is it, if from like an objective, or as objective as one can be from an objective standpoint, is it supposed to be funny in a like funny but not in a ha-ha way, but like just dark humor? Would you say that is the case, or is it meant to be taken seriously?
I mean, sometimes it's funny, but a lot of times it's meant to be taken seriously.
Okay. So Crump really loves The Sopranos, which I know I've mentioned before, and we watched a couple episodes together, and he was laughing at really weird parts, and it didn't seem funny at all. Like, horrible stuff is happening, and he's, like, laughing. And I'm like, are you a fucking sociopath? How is it? What? Why? No, this isn't funny at all. Like, it's the opposite of that. It was so awkward, and I didn't know if it was, like, me, if I wasn't picking up on some sort of, like, dark humor undertone. It was weird. It makes me uncomfortable thinking about it.
Great. It kind of depends on without knowing what part of the show it was, it's hard to.
It was, yeah, just, yeah.
It was about like when he kills Big Pussy. That part is pretty serious.
I don't know. You know, I'm gonna say there's a 50% chance that it was that part, but I can't say for certain. I do know that when they killed that stripper that was trying to get her life back on track, like when she died, I basically watched until the dude who killed her got killed and then said, fuck this show forever and dipped. And that's when I realized that, like, I'm, happy things are nice. Like, I swapped from that and started binging on Downton Abbey, and that was one of the greatest decisions I've ever made in my life. It was nice. People didn't die.
I really like, what's her name? Edie Falco, who played Tony Soprano's wife. Mm-hmm. And she got her own show later called Nurse Jackie, where she played a drug addict nurse, and that show was really good. But I stopped watching it before the end. But I liked that show. I think that, and she got to do more in that role, and I just think she was really good. She's really good.
Yeah.
That's my other takeaway. The another show I just wanted to talk about briefly was, so part of the reason that I was really wanted to watch The Wire is because my dad, like, the cop show he liked, like, which I always saw as like opposed to Law and Order, which was super had its formula, but like the good cop show to me when I was a kid was Homicide: Life on the Streets.
I've never even fucking heard of that in my entire life.
Yeah, and like I don't remember a lot of it at this point though, but that was based on a book that was written by the guy who goes on to create The Wire, basically. And he learned a lot about from TV by like hanging out on the set as for Homicide. And like the big thing that always stuck in my head on that was like how often it was just they didn't solve the murder. And they had this like whiteboard where they would write up all the murders, and like if it wasn't solved it would be in red, and if they solved it would get written up in black. And just like that image of that whiteboard was like super burned into my brain forever. Of like, nope.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds...
Sometimes you just fucking...
Yeah, and
it doesn't work out.
That's good. That would make a lot of cop shows more bearable.
As far as formulaic cop shows go, I really like Inspector Lewis.
Also never heard of it.
It's a British... It's like the sequel series to another one. Like basically Lewis was the like sidekick character for to Inspector Morse, and Inspector Morse had its own show, and it's a series of books, and then just like those people doing that got older, and then the guy who was playing Lewis took over, and the show became about him with his sidekick as he became a detective. And I really liked Inspector Lewis when I watched it. And it was like one of those British things, like they would air like a handful at a time or something.
Yeah, but like releasing it in series or whatever.
Yeah, like the way like British TV will more often do like a couple of episodes a year, but kind of just keep going forever sometimes is how that worked. Another cop show, which stars an actor who is in The Wire, is Luther, which I fucking love, which is starring Idris Elba.
Is that... Okay, I got it. I'm going to say it's between two people. Is it the heroin addict or the drug addict?
No.
Is it the main like black guy? Or
he's like the second in command to the head of the gang there. He plays Stringer Bell in The Wire.
Okay. Damn.
And Idris Elba has become a movie star. He's in lots of movies. Like he's in Pacific Rim.
That was a good film.
Pops off my head. He's the commander guy. But the big thing to me about Luther was like I now see him as Luther as his defining character, not his character from The Wire, which is not something I can say about any of those other actors. Everyone else on The Wire is like, yep, that's him from The Wire. Well, Michael B. Jordan, he's just because he was just a kid in The Wire, and he's kind of just older now. so that's less that. But
yeah, that's...
no. But Idris Elba I see more as Luther, and Luther that's a good detective show. I also highly recommend that one to people.
You know what the worst cop show is?
No.
Psych.
Because I probably haven't. Fucking hate Psych.
Yeah, there it is.
That one's fucking garbage.
You know what made Psych 1,000 times worse?
What?
Having a college roommate who would watch it religiously and then watch reruns like 3 times a week. It was not as funny as him and his friend thought it was.
That show's garbage.
It was pretty fucking terrible. Man. He also... I don't know if I've mentioned this before. Maybe I have. At least on the podcast. I don't know. There's like 50 plus episodes now. Whatever. I lose track. This is the same roommate that would fall asleep. He had to fall asleep to Friends. And they played reruns on the network every single night.
Friends is still very, like, Netflix... His big thing is that they're going to lose the rights to Friends, and that's a big part of their business. That show is ridiculously popular still.
So, but on network television, they banged out like the same 17-ish reruns. So he would watch, and they'd always do 2 back to back. I think it was at like 10. And he would... I saw it, and at first, like, I never watched that much Friends ever, so I would watch. I didn't mind it at first. And then we'd see an episode that we just saw, like, last week or 2 weeks ago, and he'd still be laughing super hard at it. And I'm like, dude, we just saw this. And then it came up a third and a fourth and a fifth time, and he's still, like, fucking dying at this joke. And I'm like, it's not... What is happening? He would fall asleep with Friends on. I would have to either... I mean, after a while, I would just sit at my computer because I knew what was coming. But for the first however long there, I would have to crawl. I would sometimes go to bed before him. But he'd leave the thing on, and I either couldn't get to sleep or I'd wake up, and the TV would be fucking on. So I had to climb out of my bunk, go down on the cold-ass tile floor, and turn off Friends, which actually wasn't Friends anymore because even worse, it degrades into George Lopez reruns after that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
see, that's
it's
the
just...
true nightmare.
Yeah, no, it was fucking terrible. So, like, Friends is just... Maybe in, like, another 20 or 30 or 40 years, I'll be like, yeah, you know, yeah, sure. But it's way too soon. That needs another decade at least to wear off. There's like one bit that I like from it, but other than that, it's too much. That's probably a podcast.
That's probably a podcast. Like, again, there are other TV shows, but I think
there's so many.
There are a lot of TV shows.
Like, there was Breaking Bad that I watched with my first roommate, who was an amazing guy. But more important than Breaking Bad was actually the addiction to Ritz Bits that we both had for, like, a semester. So, turns out cheese and crackers is fucking amazing.
Yeah, I never finished Breaking Bad.
It's good. I don't feel the need...
That last half a season or whatever.
I don't feel the need to watch it again, honestly. But it's
fair.
Good.
Yeah, I never loved it. But it was good. I kind of just... When he became the villain, I lost interest. It lost... Like, I liked... Fucking who is the main drug dealer? Overlord character in that?
Gus?
Yeah. When they after they killed Gus, it kind of lost me. It's just like, you're just a piece of garbage. Like, fuck off.
he like it swings back around a little bit. I think his performance and Jesse, whatever, Aaron Paul, like they did real well.
The important thing to me
shit.
was that Bryan Cranston to me was the dad from Malcolm in the Middle,
Right?
and that
It's
transformation over the first season was just like an impressive thing to like change your known TV personality kind of thing.
Dude,
like,
that's
on the meta
it's
level.
fucking
I
top
liked it
notch.
also more than I ever liked it as just a TV show, even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So this podcast went way longer than I ever thought it would.
I mean,
Kinda.
there's a lot of TV,
There is a lot of fucking TV.
and I watched a lot of TV. Don't really watch any TV anymore, though.
Well, it's not shit worth watching.
I still watch Dragon Ball Z.
Ugh.
For whatever reason. Anime.
Oh, no. Anime that influences.
All right, now let's start the anime section of the podcast now.
Oh, God.
You can email us at saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter at saltcirclepod. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and Spotify. Salt Circle Podcast. You can find our episodes hosted at anchor.fm/saltcircle. And I am on Twitter at Comic Panels.
And I'm on Twitter at bean_LP. You want to hear a fun Pacific Rim fact?
Sure.
The Russian twins in the film who, they pilot the thing. Apparently, because Anya laughed her ass off watching this, they are it's the equivalent of having twins and naming them both Aaron, but one is spelled differently because it's a girl. Like they're named the same exact thing. Did not know that. Yeah. Now you know.
Here's my fun Pacific Rim fact. Pacific Rim 2, not that good.
No desire to why ruin a good thing?